YouTubers, family and friends. This is Edward here. Welcome back to the channel. And this is a quick update. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm just out doing some more chores. I've been washing and waxing the car and the van here last couple days. So it's sparkling, shining, just like a nice waxed vehicle should look. I try to do it at least once a year. It should be done every 6 months, but you know how that goes. If you're doing it yourself, you really got to be disciplined. And I think it's been actually a year and a half since I did the van. I did that totally yesterday, and then right now I have the wax coat on most of the truck. I'm going to be wiping it off here in a few minutes, but I just wanted you guys to know, and a lot of the vloggers are coming out of the woodwork about this 26-year-old that was kidnapped in the Philippines, in Mindanao, and in my province, Zamboanga del Norte. But I've been here 10 years. I've never had a problem. Why? Because I don't put myself in situations that, in common sense, you're gonna, anywhere in the world, if you put yourself in a bar late at night in areas you don't know the people, blah blah blah, you're gonna have problems. Get mugged, get killed, get raped, whatever it is. Or if you're disobeying local laws, customs, and observances with different religions and stuff like that. And this is just another case of people putting themselves, and this young kid, 26 years old, from Vermont in the United States. I'm sure he met this Filipina. It's a Muslim Filipina, met her online, came here, and they decided to elope, or get married off the books. And that's just a no-no. And I'm sure the Muslims family, they're just furious over it. And so now what does this led into? It's led into a kidnapping, because they just wanted to get rid of this boy, right? I mean, if they really planned on wanting to get any money from him, they never would have shot him in the leg. And that's the story. He was shot in the leg because he was trying to run when they came to take him, right, to kidnap him. And they said they were police, but they're all dressed in black. Well, Philippines National Police don't dress in black. I've never seen it. Even SWAT units are all in blue. So, there's another thing. And he's put himself, like I say, he's in the same province in Mindanao, northwestern Mindanao, that I'm in, Region 9. But I'm at the extreme northeastern part of the province. And this province is massive. It goes way down. I bet you it's hundreds of kilometers down to past and south of Zamboanga City. And that's where he was, in a heavily populated Muslim area. I mean, ever since the day I came, within the first few weeks I was here, I knew that the southern part of Zamboanga del Norte was a massive Muslim population, extremists. And in the past, they've had bombings and kidnappings and killings and all that stuff. Way extreme south on the Zamboanga Peninsula. If you look at it in a map, it looks like a big penis, and that's limp, that goes down, and then the head of it at the very, very bottom. Then there's some other islands going out, down even south from there. Dozens and dozens of them, right? Sulu is one of the biggest islands off of the peninsula, and this whole area is controlled by Muslim extremists. So, it's just do a little bit of footwork, know what you're doing. I mean, and even if you plan on staying long term, look what I've done with my property, right? And yes, I had money to do it, but you know what? Set yourself up for security, and you're going to be secure. I got permitted weapons here from permits legally obtained. My Filipino wife, and so we have firearms to protect us, and we have a 10 to 20 foot wall all the way around our property with secured gates, right? And No one comes knocking here. If they come knocking here, we know the local police. We know them by face. We know them by name. You know, we know if someone's, you know, trying to, if some strangers saying they're police show up, we know that, okay, get out the shotgun. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, so you can stay away from these people and make them not successful. But that's the bad thing in the Philippines. If you're having a land dispute, if a foreigner gets involved with land disputes or a marriage dispute or not disobeying, but making bad face, making the Filipino community, whatever, if you're in a Muslim or Christian Filipino community or whatever, if you're making their church a laughing stock by a U.S. American infidel, usually that's what the Muslims, these Muslim communities call the Western people infidels, right? Because their ways are just so evil, and really that's the truth on most of the way that the Western people conduct themselves. It's like an evil infidel. And these Muslim communities, some of them are very strict. And when you get one of these outsiders coming in to their community and then going against their customs and laws and, you know, eloping or having the city manager or the mayor's office marry them, you know, and all this stuff is against the parents, against the family, against all the Muslim traditions, blah, 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 it goes on and on. And I don't know exact details of this, but this, from being here 10 years, I know the way it is in the Philippines. And you better not be getting on the wrong side of people, and especially groups of people, giving them what they call bad face, you know, embarrassing, and, you know, coming into their country and treating them and their ways disrespectfully. And that's what this kid has done. And so what happened? So some of the family members, relatives, whatever, it only takes $400 or $500 US, you know, 20, 30,000 pesos to hire a kidnapper. And I think there was 4 or 5 kidnappers that came right to the house and knocking and snatched him. You know, he tried to run, they shot him in the leg, they took him by boat, so he must have been near water. And a lot of the kidnappings I've heard of over the years, and you know, and this is all over the Philippines, but yes, Mindanao gets a bad rap because there's a lot of these high concentration Muslim extremists in Mindanao, right? I've never had a problem in 10 years because I keep to myself. I'm respectful to everyone, Muslims, Christians alike, and I treat everyone with respect as much as I possibly can. And this is what you have to do when you're in the Philippines, guys. And even in even in the U.S., I mean, it's way 100 times more dangerous in the U.S. Would you go into Harlem in New York as a white dude and just start, you know, walking right into all their gangs and stuff like that and their neighborhoods and thinking that you're hot stuff and whatever? No. And see, that's another thing. They're at a YouTube channel. This kid has a YouTube channel, and he was spouting off in there wearing Muslim garb and stuff, just totally disrespecting, which he might have thought that he was trying to fit in, but wrong answer. So now this boy is paying the price. So what happened to me this morning, since this kidnapping was in the same province I'm in, even though I'm in the exact extreme opposite end of the province, of hundreds of kilometers away, the local PNP police came here to my place this morning and, you know, just to see if I'm okay, take some photos of me, which they within the last 6 months, they've taken photos of me 3 different times. And I kid you not. And then they keep a pretty close, tight watch on us here. And why you know, nothing else to do, really. That's basically why. But, you know, make sure I'm safe, and then taking good photos of me, my wife, my child, because they're all could be kidnapped or, you know, possibilities, blah, blah, blah. And the U.S. State Department, I knew this before I ever came to the Philippines, they said, oh, don't even go into Mindanao or any of the other areas other than the big cities of Manila and Cebu. Stay away from the outer lying areas, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, that's the reason why I came to the outer areas. Whatever the U.S. State Department says that you're not supposed to do, I want to do it. Why? Because that's probably the best place to be. And I'm right. I was right. This place is an absolute Garden of Eden here, right? Absolute Garden of Eden. It's absolutely beautiful here in the Philippines. In this area, Mindanao, like I say, we have a homestead here. We grow crops. We raise animals, livestock, goats, turkeys, chickens. We're getting close to being able to survive off the eggs. Maybe in another year, we'll be able to survive off the eggs and don't buy eggs anymore. This is the stuff we're working toward all the time. And we have solar system here, and I'm setting up a battery system, being completely self-sufficient. If everything goes down in the entire world, we're going to be set. I mean, every single morning since August, right? This is mid-October, mid to late October already. What is it? The 20th of October today. And I've been picking every single morning. If I get up at 5 a.m., go to my tower, into my high holy place, do my prayers, spend my time with the Lord, plan my day, go down, pick fruit for my animals. My animals on another property that my wife and I have purchased. And my cow, I have one cow, she's pregnant, and she loves fruit, right? So I pick all the fruit that is fallen off her trees, rambutan and lasuni. I've been picking it off the ground, right? I get a huge, probably a gallon bucket, or maybe even close to 2 gallons some days, depending on if it was a storm or rain or something more falls from the tree. And I put that in a big, huge bag, take it to her every morning. She eats every bit of it, right, with a little bit of grain. And then she eats grass the rest of the day, grass and weeds and all that kind of stuff at the property. So this is where to be. In the city, renting, giving all your money to someone else instead of, buying land and a future for your family. This is where you can do it, because in the U.S., you do that kind of stuff and they just want to sell it. They don't even care about it. But here, a family tradition is like the old days in the U.S., where generations have a farm, right? And they work hard on the farm, and they grow up knowing the farm and the land that you have, and that's their subsistence, right? You live off the land, you sell your livestock and what you grow at the markets, and that's the way it is here still in Mindanao. That's why I love it here. That you're close to the land, which is God's creation. You spend every day in a beautiful breeze and the sun, and this is rainy season, but really we haven't had much rain. Actually, I went driving my four-wheeler this morning, and I didn't get any mud on my four-wheeler, which is pretty strange this time of year. But the heaviest part of the rainy season here is November through December, November through February. And we'll go in here, I'll give you guys a little heads up. But this is the thing with kidnappings, guys. Use some common sense. That's what you got to do. Use your common sense and stay out of situations that you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I had these bus bars on order, and my dad was saying, if you have copper pipe, you can just smash the copper pipe, drill holes, and use that for bus bar. Yes, that's exactly right. I could do that, but I don't have any, and I got a tight budget right now, and I had some on order, and the ones that were supposed to be here about 3 or 4 days ago, I got ripped off from Lazada. It happens every once in a while. If you don't check every single package, because when I order on Lazada, it's COD only, cash on delivery, right? Because I don't trust them. It's rare I ever use my credit card on buying anything online. I let it come to my house. I inspect the package. Sometimes I'm forced to open the package, which they don't allow. But if it's a situation where it looks funny, or it don't look like it's the right shape or size, or you shake it and it sounds funny from what you ordered or whatever it is, right? Sometimes you can see physical damage, and I'll just reject it and then have to reorder. Well, that's what I had to do, but I actually had someone else in the family. I left the money in the store and they paid for it, and the size of the package was way off. If I would have did it myself, I would have rejected the package, but they didn't know, because I didn't think it would be a problem. But that's what I get for thinking that's not going to be a problem. And that's like the third time now that I've been ripped off on Lazada in like a 2.5 year period. So it's not too bad, and maybe a total of like $70 being 3 or 4 different items. So it's not bad, but you just gotta, when you're on a tight budget like we are, every little bit counts. And that was a rough one. I was really mad at myself that I didn't stay, because I was heading on my 4-wheeler into the village to buy some grinding wheels and some more paint brushes, because I was working on the tower. And you just get too busy with too many things going on, and that kind of stuff happens. So I moved all the bus bars. Since the bus bars didn't show up, I have some more on order that should get here this sometime this end of this week. So I moved all the bus bars from these over to this side, and now I'm charging these. And because they're all in parallel, even when I don't have the juice going to it, which like I say is only like 10 watts, 11 watts, 3 amps and 11 watts right now at 3.55 volts. That's what's going into the batteries right now. And even when I take the power off them, they equalize being bust up like this on parallel. Yes, it takes many, many days, but that's fine. I'm not in a rush on this. I'm retired. I just take it slow and easy and methodical. And when I get those other bus bars, I'm going to put the rest of them on there. And then I'm going to put that other charger there on it with this charger and crank it up a little faster. And maybe in a couple weeks I'll have these things top balanced. And then I got to compress these. If you guys know anything about these 280 amp hour batteries, I got 16 of them here, right? And this finally came a couple days ago too. 250 amp BMS, battery management system, right? And it's got a cooling fan on it, and it can handle high amps, right? Well, it's a 48 volt system when you put 16 3.2 volt batteries in series. So right now they're in parallel, but when you put them in series, which is, positive to negative, and string them all together, you bump your voltage up to 48 from 3.2. So then that inverter I bought is a 48 volt inverter. So it inverts 48 volt to 220 volt, because everything in the Philippines is 220. So I got my wire for the batteries, and I sized my wire for the in and out for my breaker box, and I got my hydraulic crimper and everything there. I got all my parts to get it all put together. But when you put these together in series, you got to compress them. So to compress them, I'll put some 3/4 inch plywood. Let's see here, I'll show you guys. Let me turn on this light. So this 3/4 inch plywood, I got some left over, right? And I'm going to put that on each side or each end of the batteries. And actually these will be an 8 and an 8 side by side, so it'll be double the thickness and half the distance. So I'll put this on each end of the battery with all thread between a piece on this side. I'll cut 2 pieces to size. So here on this side, and then one on the other side, and then I'll have all thread going through the whole thing with nut and washers, and then tighten the whole thing up. So the whole battery bank is compressed. And that's the way they recommend you doing it, because when you get a lot of discharging and charging, the batteries will start to swell, and they'll swell so much that it'll start blowing out of their case, and you don't want that. So that's why you got to keep them compressed. So that way they won't compress, they won't blow out on you. And anyways, that's the recommended. And I've watched lots of videos, and it should turn out really well. I'm hoping. And then here's my all thread. I got that over here in a corner right now. So that battery bank will end up right here. That inverter will be on the wall right here. And I'll get it all tied in to my other breaker box. Here's the main panel for the property, and then here's your Zeneco or generator switch box. So this is your switch, right? Switch if you want to go to genset or you want to stay on the grid. So right now, of course, I'm on the grid. And then when I switch this over to genset, I'm going to make this breaker be to a two-way breaker right here. So if you flip that breaker up, it goes to, it's like a three-way breaker, right? So there'll be wires going inside of it. Then if you have the lever up, that'll be to the generator. If you have the breaker down, that'll be to the battery bank, right? So it'll be bypassing your main grid. And instead of just only generator, you have another option is to go to your grid or your battery power. And that's the way I'm going to work it. So I got to have wires going through here. I have to drill my holes and everything, get my wire links and everything. And I'll have my electrician come out and do the final on it, do the final connections to the live box, power box, and all that stuff. So I'll shut this off right now. Okay, so let's go back outside. So anyways, I just want to let you guys know, some of these completely uninformed people from the city of Manila and Cebu, like Sunshine Shoulders, that's one I'll shout out to right now. That I don't understand why he even does a video, because he wants to jump on a kidnapping case. So these vloggers jump on the video. They don't even know the way it is here in Mindanao, the island of Mindanao. It's the second biggest island in all of the islands of the Philippines, but yet it's so dangerous. The U.S. State Department says don't even come here because it's so dangerous. Well, like I say, I've never had a problem in 10 years. And it's just like anywhere else in the world. If you put yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time and don't have any brain or common sense up here, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And it's a sad situation. I feel sorry for the kid. And I don't know his mind. Only God knows his mind. But why he would, go online and find a Muslim woman and then come to the most heavily populated Muslim area in the Philippines, against everyone's good advice, and go forward with a wedding, out of the realm of their culture, and the family being so mad about it. At least many of the relatives, I'm sure, were very, very unhappy. And this is the kind of stuff that happens when you do go against customs, and especially religions, guys. Everybody knows, when people are fervent about their religion, things get nasty and that's why I don't like any religions. There's 42,000 plus religions in the world, and they're all bad. All of them. Every one of them. Why? Because they're laws of man. They're doctrines of man. They're not doctrines of Christ and God. They're twisted and deceptions, and they're a bunch of full of half-truths, right? That's what the serpent's tongue is half-truths. And that's what all these religions are, guys. Just like what the Pope's saying right now. Oh, all the religions in the world are okay because they all lead to God. Yeah, God's Satan, because religions are from the serpent, double tongue, half-truths. The only real truth is from Jesus Christ or Yeshua or, Father God Almighty, whatever you want to call him. God knows your heart. So that's what you got to do, guys, is just focus on Christ's words, red letter in the Bible. That'll get you on the right road. And then just go to him in prayer, meditation, and fasting. And he says, if you love me, obey my commandments. Where's that one? I got it up in the house. But it's in Matthew or John, the book of John. I love the book of John and the book of Matthew the best in the Bible, because there's the most red letters from Christ in those books, guys. And also there's quite a few in Revelation. So just do your studying and just let the love of Christ pour out from your heart. That's all that matters. And yes, we get wrapped up in the world, but try to be separated from the world system. When people say, and even Christ says, we're not of this world, that means the systems, man's systems of the world. But we are of this earth. God created this earth. This is the heaven. When even Our Father, the prayer, Our Father that Christ taught us, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So earth is heaven. Heaven is here now. The kingdom of Christ and God and heaven are here now within you from the Holy Spirit when you believed in Christ. Period. So anyways, that's a good guide for you guys. Obey God's commandments. If you love him, obey his commandments. That's what he says. So if you want to learn what the commandments are, read your Bible. Even Christ expounds on the 10 commandments, and he even gives a couple more important commandments over the 10 commandments, right? Love God with all your heart, the soul, thy mind. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Sacrifice yourself for others. That's very hard for most of us to do, including myself. But that's why we have to, die to ourselves every day and try to serve others best we can. So, love you guys. I'm going to finish up my waxing project here, and you guys take care, and I love you very much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.